Now coming to the next fixture, that is between Brighton and City. Now City have hit rock bottom in my opinion with 3 back-to-back defeats in the EFL Cup, in the Premier League and the UCL. Now this away match would be tough, but a fit Kevin De Bruyne and Foden behind Haaland should be a fascinating tie. Now this move will basically be for freeing up some cash for upgrading Rodgers to Bowen or Emil Smith Rowe to someone like Garnacho or Semenyo. Now Salah is also in prolific form, and it's a home game against Aston Villa, and Villa ranked 13th in expected goals conceded for away games, that is 12.3. Hey guys, welcome back to another video from the Football Herd. Hope you're doing wonderfully well. So this is a weekly series that we do each game week, in which I'll be discussing about the best fixtures to target for game week 11. Then I'll be talking about the transfer possibilities that I have. And third, I'll be doing the team selection, and last but not the least, I'll be showcasing the best captaincy option amongst 3 candidates. So make sure you stick around till the end, and if you do like this video, please do drop a like and subscribe to my channel. That will mean a lot to me. So without delaying any further, let's get started. I'll be talking about the fixtures to target for game week 11, and the first fixture that we will like to talk about is between Spurs and Ipswich. Now Spurs have a very high expected goals involvement, and Ipswich have the highest expected goals conceded. And we are seeing them, league goals at will. So it should be a very fascinating encounter for Spurs, in my opinion. And the attacking assets of Spurs like San, Solanke, then Johnson should feast, in my opinion. And it should be a very high-scoring game, in my opinion. So keep hold of those Spurs assets. They will be gold dust in this game week, in my opinion. Now coming to the next fixture, that is United versus Leicester. Now Leicester have the 3rd highest expected goals conceded, and United scored 5 against them in the EFL Cup. They have a lot of players returning from injury also. So all these factors should give them a boost, in my opinion. As you can see in the performance graph, that United have hugely underperformed. Now it could be a great time for redemption, in my opinion, because they have a new manager, and they are playing a lot of better attacking football than they used to play, in my opinion. And assets like Bruno, Garnacho, Rashford should have an amazing game week, in my opinion. And also for Leicester, assets like Vardy, Bonate should have a brilliant game week. Now coming to the next fixture that I'll talk about is between Wolves and Southampton. Now again, this should be a goal feast for Wolves, since Southampton concedes so many chances. And now it's all about Matheus Cunha, Strand Larsen and Aït-Nouri in taking them, right? Southampton have the 2nd highest expected goals conceded in the league, as you can see in this chart. And Wolves have hugely overperformed, as you can see in the performance graphic also. And, they lead the 20 teams in what you call as overperformance. Now just imagine what havoc they can wreak if they, get more number of chances, right? On the contrary, Wolves also have the 3rd highest expected goals conceded, and assets like Archer and Armstrong should capitalize, in my opinion. We saw them play with 2 forwards in the last game round, and Armstrong scoring that 1 goal, which led Southampton to the victory. So those 2 assets are also crucial, in my opinion. Now coming to the next fixture, that is between Brighton and City. Now City have hit rock bottom, in my opinion, with 3 back-to-back defeats in the EFL Cup, in the Premier League and the UCL. Now this away match would be tough, but a fit Kevin De Bruyne and Foden behind Haaland should be a fascinating tie. However, Brighton have that counter-attacking menace, which I believe is well capitalized by Welbeck. But I don't believe that Welbeck is someone like Gyökeres. So it should be an end-to-end match. And I believe that City will score a lot of goals, and it should be an easy win for Manchester City. Now coming to the next fixture, this is not a fixture that I like to target, but I like to talk about because it's a London derby of Chelsea and Arsenal. Now it's completely between Palmer and Saka, and we'll see that whether Palmer features in this or not, because he's facing a late fitness test. Now Arsenal have looked very nervy at the back of late, and if they continue to disappoint, then the Chelsea assets should feast, right? However, that seems very much unlikely. So having said that, this should be the most fascinating game of the game week 11, in my opinion. But I would like to focus on the 4 game weeks that I mentioned, and those are the 4 fixtures that I feel we should target for game week 11. In this segment, I will be talking about the transfer possibilities that I have for game week 11. Now I have 3 options. The first one being that I'll transfer out Robinson and I'll opt for Aït-Nouri. Now it's a very like-for-like replacement. Even though it's very tough to get rid of Robinson, who has been phenomenal with his crosses for Fulham, and he also fetched 6 points in the last game week. I feel in the long-term horizon of 6 to 7 game weeks, Aït-Nouri offers more value due to his attacking prowess. That is why I'll be, favoring towards this option. Now coming to the next option that I have is transferring out Trent and bringing in Aït-Nouri. Now this move will basically be for freeing up some cash for upgrading Rogers to Bowen or Emil Smith-Rowe to someone like Garnacho or Semenyo. Now I really favor the English international for his incredible form and FPL potential, and Bowen is also on pens and the most consistent West Ham asset over the years. But it's from game week 14 that the fixtures for West Ham turned good, and I'll be needing the cash for that move. And the third option being that I'll roll the free transfer, and I'll be making a couple of free transfers after the international break for game week 12. So these are the three possibilities. However, I'm leaning towards more for option 1, where I'll transfer out Robinson and bring in Aït-Nouri. I've got Plekken, who averages 2.8 points per match with 54 saves. Now in this graphic you'll be able to see that he is the goalkeeper with the highest number of saves in the league, and he had also made 10 saves in game week 10, and he faces a Bournemouth side who have taken 49 shots in 10 game weeks on target and scored 13 goals. So I'm not too much optimistic about Plekken keeping a clean sheet, but I'm hoping for a lot of save points as usual. Now coming to my defense, the first defender that I have is Guardiola. Now Guardiola has already scored 3 goals from 15 shots that he has taken and created 3 big chances. He had an expected goals involvement of 1.8, which is amazing in my opinion, and already scored 49 points. Now Guardiola is one of the most prolific defenders for City, who have been saving them in a lot of game weeks, and they face Brighton, who have conceded 15.1 expected goals conceded and are ranked 13th, and they have already kept 3 clean sheets. So in my opinion, it should be a very good game week for Guardiola, and I'm pretty optimistic about some fruitful returns from him. Now coming to the next defender, that's none other than Aït-Nouri, whom I have transferred in for Robinson. Now Aït-Nouri has already scored 3 goals from 12 number of shots, and he has already created 5 big chances and has an expected goals involvement of 1.8. Now Aït-Nouri faces a Southampton side who have an expected goals conceded of 21.2, which is quite high in my opinion, and they have only managed to keep 1 clean sheet. So I'm hoping that Aït-Nouri wreaks havoc from the left wing back position, and he has a very favourable game week. Now coming to the third defender, that's Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now Trent has been a disappointment of late, and though he has already scored 46 points thanks to the defensive prowess of Liverpool in keeping clean sheets, and he has already been phenomenal when we talk about the expected goals involvement. He has a tally of 3.5, which is highest among defenders that you can clearly see in this graphic, and he was supposed to score more number of points, somewhat around 48 points as per the hub algorithm, but he has only scored 46, just like I mentioned. Now he faces a Villa side who have conceded 11.8 expected goals conceded, and they are ranked 10th, and they have only kept 1 clean sheet. So in my opinion, it should be a very open game, but just because it's an Anfield tie, I am quite optimistic that Trent will turn things around, and it will be a very lucrative one for the English international. Now coming to my midfield, I have a midfield 5 starting with Emil Smith-Rowe. Now Emil Smith-Rowe has already scored a couple of goals and 43 points in the first 10 game weeks. Now he has been a consistent performer, but of late he has been lacking lustre in my opinion, and in the last game week also we saw him being unlucky and not get fruitful attacking returns. But Fulham face a Palace side who have an XGC of 14.2 and have kept only 2 clean sheets. So in my opinion, it is a very fascinating tie, and we can expect some returns from Smith-Rowe, but he's living on a thin line in my team, in my opinion, because I'll be transferring him out for someone like Semenyo in the times to come if he is unable to impress me in game week 11. Now coming to the next midfielder, that's the Egyptian king, that's Mohamed Salah, who has already scored 7 goals from 30 shots, and he leads the points tally amongst midfielders with 93 points, and has surpassed his expected points tally of 62 points, which he was supposed to score. and he has a Villa tie at home, so it should be a very fascinating game in my opinion. When we talk about Mohamed Salah, we saw him score that amazing goal in which he is quite prolific, and he has already created 12 big chances, which is insane, with a 7.3 xgi. So it only adds to what Salah brings to the table. Now coming to the next midfielder, that's none other than Morgan Rogers. Now Morgan Rogers was one of the saviors for me in the last game week with a 9-pointer, and he has already scored 3 goals from 19 shots. He had started the campaign with back-to-back 2-pointers in which he was not able to return, but he has cemented his place and is playing alongside Ollie Watkins in the number 10 position, and which has been amazing in my opinion, and he has already returned 44 points with an XGI of 3.8, and they face a tough Liverpool tie, and it's an away game, and Liverpool have been very compact at the back, as we have seen, and have already kept 5 clean sheets, and so I believe that it will be a very tough game for Rodgers, but I can expect a solitary goal at least from him because of the last game week that we saw against Spurs. Now coming to the next midfielder that I have is Mbeumo. Now Mbeumo is the third highest midfielder amongst all. When we talk about the points, he has already scored 71 points, and he has surpassed his expected points tally of 50, and he has an XGI of 6.2, which is insane in my opinion. And he is the Bournemouth talisman, and he already has his favorite partner of Yohan Wissa with him, and I believe that it should only enhance his scoring potential. And he's also on penalties, and they face a Bournemouth side who have an expected goals considered 12.8 and have kept only 1 clean sheet. So we can definitely expect Mbeumo to score at least 1 or if not 2 in this tie. Now coming to my last midfielder, now Cole Palmer completes my midfield. Now Cole Palmer has already scored 7 goals from 32 shots and has created 12 big chances, and he is one of those prolific midfielders who has surpassed his expected points tally by greater than 30 points. That is the highest difference in any of the assets that we'll talk about, and they have a very difficult game against Arsenal, though it's a home game, and Arsenal have been not that prolific of late, and they have even though they have a very low expected goals conceded in the first 10 games of only 10.5, I believe that they have only kept 3 clean sheets, and slowly but steadily I think things will get better for Arsenal, which is not great of late. But this fixture should be a high scoring one if we see that Arsenal squander a lot of defensive chances for Chelsea. Now coming to the forwards, I have a forward 2 of starting with Strand Larsen. Now Strand Larsen has been amazing for my team. He has already scored 4 goals from 15 shots, and he is there because I was not able to afford Matheus Cunha, and Strand Larsen has already got an expected goals involvement of 2.8 and he scored 43 points, and they face a Southampton side who are too much leaky at the back, which I was talking about when I was speaking about Ait Nouri. Now Erling Haaland is my second striker, and he completes my attack. He has already scored 11 goals from 10 games from 48 number of shots and created 11 big chances, and his points tally of 77 is a bit disappointing, I would say, because he was scoring goals and assisting at will. But of late in the 4-5 games he has been facing a lot of difficulty. But having said that, Brighton also concede chances and good quality chances, and I believe that this should be a redemption game week for Manchester City, and Erling Haaland should have a great game week in my opinion. Now when we talk about my bench, Howard Bailey is the first person as my first sub who face a Wolves side. Now Southampton have kept a clean sheet and scored 6 points in game week 10, and they have looked impressive defensively. So I'm not too much worried about my bench. And Stewart and Nedeljkovic complete my bench. And I'll be talking about my captain in the next segment. Just hold your horses, where I'll be comparing 3 players and give you my captain for game week 11. The Captaincy Metrics, I'll be comparing 3 players. The first being Erling Haaland, then Dominic Solanke and Mohamed Salah. Now to start with, you can see the numbers that is in your screen that Brighton have an expected goals conceded of 15.1, whereas Ipswich have 22.8 and Villa have 12.3. So if you want to target someone, it should be Solanke, considering the weakest opponent, that's Ipswich, because Ipswich have the worst defense in the league, and he might also be on pens if Son is not playing and is rested. And Solanke is in scintillating form, and full marks to his owners that showed patience, and he rewarded them with 16 points with a couple of goals and an assist in the last game week. And he is the best captaincy choice in my opinion, followed by Erling Haaland. Now Haaland has a Brighton game. Now the most important factor here should be the presence of Kevin De Bruyne in the side, which was lacking in the last few game weeks, where we have seen Haaland struggling. But having said that, Haaland has also accumulated greater than 3 XGI in the last 3 games, but he's unable to capitalize on those chances, and I believe that those are high XG chances, but those are not such chances which De Bruyne will be able to furnish to him. So I'm keeping hopes high on Haaland. And last but not the least, Mohamed Salah. Now Salah is also in prolific form, and it's a home game against Aston Villa, and Villa ranked 13th in expected goals conceded for away games, that is 12.3. And this should be a very lucrative game and a fascinating encounter in my opinion, and it should be end to end. But having said that, if Unai Emery is able to block those lanes and play a more defensive shape in this game, and then I believe that it should be a quiet game for Salah. But having said that, Mohamed Salah is capable of doing anything and everything. So my captaincy choice will be Erling Haaland for this game week, because I do not have Solanke. But in this captaincy metrics, in my opinion, I'll recommend Solanke, followed by Haaland, and then followed by Mohamed Salah. If you want a detailed look at the players to target for game week 11, I have a dedicated video linked up for you guys. Make sure you check that video, in which I have talked about 9 players, 3 from defense, midfield and attack, and I've discussed each player at length as to why I'm opting for them. If you want to maximize your points for game week 11. And thank you so much if you watched this video till the end, and if you liked this content, please do drop a like and subscribe to my channel. All the best for game week 11, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.